My Govanen Melonin, and well met indeed. I'm Arachir Galadirthan, head of the modding team behind Divide and Conquer. Welcome back to the same as we continue on as Dol Amroth. We are pressing the Ardenheim, as you can see just here. Artheon has come with an army from Dol Amroth itself. We've got a lot of cavalry, which should help put us in good stead. A couple of Haven Guard units, which is good, because the army of the Ardenheim is usually heavy infantry based, so we need something to go toe-to-toe. Of course, Harad has recently fallen, and Khand are mopping up their regions quite swiftly. We should ideally try and stop Captain Aaron at Esthala there. But Imrahil the Conqueror was heading off to try and take Amunaithel. But its garrison seems rather large, and I'm not sure he'll actually be able to do that. Elsewhere, though, we're just trying to buff up these regions, as they will be the anvil upon which Khand are to be broken before our army can essentially clear away the Ardenheim and then push east as the time progresses. Now, before I forget, some of the videos that have been posted up onto YouTube recently are coming out and looking very, very dark on the campaign map when you watch them back on YouTube. And after some extensive research and looking all around and into this, it seems to be that YouTube is processing the videos. That something on YouTube's end essentially has changed the way that the videos show up. Now I can get around this, and for this video I should imagine it will not appear dark, because something I can do is put my videos through a program and change the way that they're encoded, which results in them losing no quality or anything like that, but it's just more time for me. But of course, if YouTube's problem is going to persist, as it seems to be doing, I will need to do that so that they're not horribly, horribly dark. But the reason that I know that it's a YouTube problem is because when I watch the raw recordings, if you will, back on my own computer, they are not dark at all. They are exactly as I see them when I play the game. But by uploading them to YouTube, it then suffers this bizarre problem, and it makes a lot of the videos dark. Now, what makes this particularly interesting is that it doesn't happen for every single video, and a lot of them, it just doesn't happen at all, even the ones that I've not put through the program. And I can tell when it's going to happen, because usually YouTube has gotten significantly better in the past few years, despite all the rightful problems that YouTube has. Not rightful problems, but despite the claims of all the problems that YouTube has, which are rightfully levied against it, it does do the odd thing right. And recently, it has rendered videos into HD in almost no time at all. It's gone from taking about 4 or 5 hours to render into HD to now they will often render as soon as the SD versions are done, which is fantastic. But if it's going to do this weird dark campaign map thing that it's been doing, it normally takes... I know it's going to do it because it takes about 5 hours to process into HD. So at least it gives some warning. Oh, bugger, I've just misclicked.
Let us claim this field.
Whoops. Well, we've missed that turn then. We're also hemorrhaging money, courtesy of Artheon's army, or Arteon, or whatever he's called. Losing a significant amount of money. But not enough to slow us down. We're going to need to just win some key battles against the Ardenheim, and this is really where the campaign will turn. Obviously, putting Khand aside for a moment, if we can beat the Ardenheim here in a few key, significant, crushing victories, then I think we can take the day. Speaking of significant, crushing victories, I feel like that is an army that we can beat with our cavalry. Now, they had a lot of archers, but if Imrahil can get a couple of good charges in, he can take an archer battalion down to half strength in a single charge. But they did have some heavy infantry in that amongst that number, didn't they? So it may not be as easy as first thought. But let's let them come out of the city so that we don't get any wacky and weird charges. And there we are. When the door shuts, they're all out. Right, that is absolutely perfect. Just charge square on into that large gathering directly in front of you. Oh, how many did you kill? Every time he charges, I feel my feet like pressing hard into the ground, like hoping for a deep hitting charge. I think that did alright though. 18% in that first go. Come on, Istian, get out. Stop being an idiot.
Our men have slain the enemy general.
The enemy general's gone.
Without him, his troops will lose their will to fight.
They've got shaken archers there. You come and hit those archers. You come in from that side. And then that's them running, surely. Fighting Unbroken to the death. Oh, Istion has taken a pounding, though. We don't want to lose one of our nation's finest warriors, so we'll try and keep him alive. Right, you turn on those, and if you can, just delay those crossbows. I think that's probably going to have to be the end of the day for Istion, lest he die.
Only half the enemy force remains.
Rubbish charge. Never charge from fighting. Always let them come away and regroup. Otherwise they get caught in such bizarre formations. They do weird things like that where they just suddenly turn around and decide that they need to group up, but not where you told them to. Right, there we are. That's the crossbowmen pretty much taken care of. We've got some archers there. We've got some archers there. It's just the footmen. I don't want to charge head on into Rosadan footmen. Oh, and someone's going for Istion. Oh, the Narduzagar have made it all the way over there. Well, run away, Istion. Imrahil gets them. They're broken. I think we will need Istion to pin down the footmen so that Imrahil doesn't have to charge into them head on. Yes, we will. So, Istion, you hit them. Right, and then Imrahil. Oh, made absolutely no difference, but it made no difference at all. He just ploughed through them like they weren't there. That's them running away. That's probably them running away. Yeah, this is done and dusted.
Seems to be swinging in our favour. From such tidings does victory emerge.
It's like catching butterflies now, isn't it? Chasing out, hitting them, and then as they start to flee, run them down. Square through those raiders, down they go, away they go. There's only 10 Narduzagar. Oh, and they're running away as well. I don't know what's still out there. Oh, is it the unit behind us? The crossbows, I think, are still going. But the enemy, unfortunately, has not been allowed back into the city. So we can just crush them. Right, where are the crossbows then? There they are. Hello, crossbow friends. It's not really your day, I'm afraid. Oh, even the banner carrier gets involved. Nice. Leaving 2 archers left. Istion survived. Those numbers have been depleted. And those 2 little men absolutely dumbfounded that they've lost today when they outnumbered their enemies so heavily. They charge. They're confident. Each man readies an arrow. Silence on the field, please. Oh, slightly loose on the first, gentleman. Fired a touch too early. But the battle is won. Their resolve wavers, and we'll let them live. 14 men perished. 934 of the enemy died. 641. Oh, it is enjoyable, though, I must confess, despite being hellishly overpowered, and it's almost game-breakingly overpowered. It is enjoyable. And with that, Amunithal is back in our hands, and with the enemy dividing their force and sending a few units north, I think Imrahil will probably be able to hold Amunithal until Khand come through. We have to be ever ready for the coming onslaught of Khandish forces, but look at the army they actually do have around here. Go on then, yeah, because will he join your army? Oh, bugger, no, he didn't. Where did he go? We'll never know. Who knows where he went? It's not Dol Amroth, is it? Oh, blimey. That's miles away, mate. Get back in the fight. Oh, well, we just went from 6,000 to 4,000 to gain to 2,800. We couldn't have got all that from just taking Amunithal, surely. Imrahil is free in Amunithal. Oh, of course, because it's got a town hall, isn't it? Free upkeep for your generals and town halls. Fantastic. I note Khand did not capture Esthala. That's very good news, but I can't really risk sending Imrahil over to Esthala. It's just way too far out of the way. I don't really know. I want the Ardenaim to bunch up. But if we could possibly get Imrahil into Artheon's army, actually, I think that would be the best bet.
Protect the blood of Numenor.
Have we got new money? No, of course we haven't. 'Cause tower right there would be wonderful. If we can get Imrahil in... Why are you going that way? Like, why are you actually going that way? Oh, because you can only get around the other way. But we are, unfortunately, already within his zone of control. We can't take down an army of that size. But I just feel like an army like that with Imrahil at its head would actually really do some damage. Is he still in Khaldun? Yeah, he is. Oh, and as Reuben comes with a bigger army. Oh, and there's Zainabin. Oh, it's Evil Brand.
It will be an honor.
Or Bard, sorry. They didn't take Istiost. They're not actually going to attack it and find a bell. These places are actually losing us money. It's so rare to see a town actually lose money. You can be a low tax rate and then you'll like us a bit more, but I can't do anything about that. Oh, and how much is Imrahil costing us? 653! Goodness gracious me. He really is the difference between making money and losing money. But he's too important to waste in a town. But I think we could probably end the turn. Oh, I'd really like to swap you out for Coastal Wardens. Lambden Clansmen. But I can't do that until we make money.
Mariners of the fleet!
And you're there just to ship troops. How much do you cost? Oh, you're only 75. There's no point getting rid of you. Wouldn't do anything anyway. Alright, let's see what the Ardenaim do. Are they going to attack Imrahil? Or will they just keep moving in circles around Gobel Mirlond? If we can take Gobel Mirlond now, then we've really pinned the Ardenaim in. They've lost Aithel. They stopped their assault on Istios because they've pulled their army back to try and deal at Mirlond. But if we can hope and pray that they will attack early, which they're so fond of doing, they always overplay their hand and reveal their cards before the time is right. And this may be one of those cases where if they wait for Reuben's army to come through, who's heading up from Istios, then they'll really outnumber us, like a good 2-1, or maybe even 3-1 if they pull all their forces. But instead, they'll get to the point where they're like 1.1-1, and then they'll attack, and they'll just get obliterated. But it comes down to how well am I going to be able to command the cavalry, and usually not well is the answer to that. But they have at least tried to pull some forces together, but it's not going to be enough. Captain Kalimetar comes with early tier trash and a ballista, which we can shut down with one of our 5 cavalry units. Captain Nimrozimir comes with the same early tier trash, and then lastly from is Customaite behind? He's in the city. Captain Customaite comes with basically nothing. No, it's a dreadful force, and so Mirlond will fall. Mirlond now, Umbar thereafter, and then beyond to the Ardenaim themselves. I am looking forward to doing a DaC faction lore video for the Ardenaim because they are the most, well, tie probably with Dorwinion. Dorwinion and the Ardenaim are the most made-up factions, if you will, and both of them have had their histories and stories made up by me specifically. So those videos will be like it would just be enjoyable for me to do because it's nice to put down. It's nice to actually list down all of the various bits of lore that you find throughout playing as the factions, through their ancillaries, through their traits, through the welcoming messages, things like that. And it's nice to find all those, to pull all those things together and have them in one clear place. And I must say that normally I don't watch my videos back, save for basically just quality control to make sure that like it's okay. I'll watch the first 5 minutes or something, but normally that's about it. But with those faction lores, I've been watching them in their entirety. To be honest, I actually quite enjoy them. Right, we are on the defensive, so there is no point sitting on that hill or going up to that hill or going up to that hill because the enemy's coming from directly behind us. Right, no, that was not what I expected, I'm afraid. I've let everyone down there. If we could pull the army like that, actually, so that we've got some space for our cavalry to do something. Where are the mariners? Oh, I left them up there. Bugger. Right, run back, guys. All of you, if you could run. And get the general to go over here. Cavalry, you might have to run interference. So pull forward. We've had a bit of a mare, but it'll force us into our positions. The Anfilas pikes are going to get there probably just at the wrong moment. No, they've made it. Brilliant. Right, well, we might as well charge into them. And what of our Haven Guard? Oh, they are now engaging. Yeah, that's fine. Right. Oh, look, the enemy's actually trying to get away. Come on, run away, run away, run away. But I can assist you in your running away.
The battle is very much in our favour. Victory will be ours.
Charge them in. All 4 of you come up here. There is a reinforcing army coming from there, but that is Castamite, the army that is inconsequential. So we needn't worry for him. Oh, look, they actually did manage to get those archers out. That's amazing. I've never known... I mean, I know that the AI does actually have it in them to try and make the best of a bad situation, but I've never seen them be quite so successful as actually getting a whole unit out in a situation like that. But sadly, they've come out on the side where our general waits, and they are reduced to nothing very quickly. Alright, the cavalry prepares here, though. You hit those archers. You hit those raiders. Don't hit the halberdiers. Ah, you hit the ballister crew, and you at the back there. That is the ballister crew as well. See if you can charge through to the warriors. And then the 71 who just ran away, charge up that hill. Yeah, the ballister crew is going to mess us around. Oh no, they've actually turned and hit where they should. Oh, that's good. We just really want to avoid the halberdiers. We want to save something like the Haven Guard for the halberdiers. So cavalry, stop your running. And don't worry about moving them in either, actually. How are we doing over here? Have faith in the silver tree! Haven Guard hit those, because those halberdiers are just kind of mowing through our pike line at the moment by the looks of it. Come out of that so that you can all sort of swing around and hit them. Otherwise I think they would get the drop on our pikes there. Right, cavalry, you've repositioned nicely. Pull yourselves back. Let's get the general to go over there. Can you target those? No, the footman, there's a footman. Where's the halberdiers? Oh, the halberdiers are right at the back. Right, let's send 2 of you up there, actually. You guys run over there. And then that's the end of the reinforcement army. So actually that's worked out quite nicely. Our cavalry has held back the main force for long enough. Bought us some time.
The battle is very much in our favour. Victory will be ours. Only half the enemy force remains.
Right, into positions. So... Squires go for that. Squires go for that. You go for those raiders. You go for the Rotterdam footmen. Head up the hill.
Our men have slain the enemy general. Without him, his troops will lose their will to fight.
Absolute massacre. Only the footmen really doing actually anything in that. The rest of them crippling and running already. Right, charge up the hill and hit those archers. You go with them.
They have lost half their men.
General, ping through, because look, we're getting shot by arrow fire now. We can't have that. Don't hit those halberdiers. Go for the ballister crew, and we'll send the general in with you. Shut them down. Hit those raiders. How are you guys doing over there? Ah, the footmen have regained some composure. You guys go for those. And you just keep bringing down that halberdier unit. Right, the reinforcements, or rather that army is completely taken care of. So our 2 elite units can curl around. Get involved down here. I don't have anything fast in this unit, which is disappointing. But those raiders are already running away. Hit the footman. Hit the footman.
If we continue like
You're
this,
killing
we will
those.
smash the enemy.
Oh, there's no point keeping you in. It's the problem with cavalry. Obviously, always takes losses, no matter how small the enemy army that they might be facing. They will take losses. And obviously, these ones don't replenish. Oh, and our archers got hit. Just as the Rotterdam then run away.
Bloodied. They have lost half their men.
No. Right, I think we are down to just the halberdiers now. So we'll send in the Haven Guard. You guys can't actually skirmish anyway, so just run away. The Havens will hit them. The Haven will likely cause them to squirm and squeal.
The battle is very much in our favour. Victory! Behold how our cowardly
they're
foe
running.
runs. It's time to press the attack.
Alright, capture all of them. So, the swarm of cavalry. Who actually is not gone yet? Oh, some halberdiers over there.
The enemy,
Oh, they've
the
got
enemy are utterly
289,
vanquished.
that's acceptable.
This is a
245
great victory,
squires.
worthy of only the mightiest of
179 squires. 134 Nimrodale Mariners. So the archers did pull the punch, and they still had half their quivers left. Yeah, so that was pretty good. We probably lost a few more than we needed to, but we're leaning into it not mattering as much anymore. I am intent on at least fighting Mordor for a time, but of course our victory conditions as Dol Amroth I don't think actually include Mordor. I think it's Harad and the Ardenaim only.
Have mercy, my lord.
Ah, and they did hit Imrahil, but he was at the edge of his movement, so we can move away. Gobo Mirland we've occupied before, haven't we? So I think we can just occupy and they'll be alright with us. Karasent's been besieged. We've got to save the free peoples. It is on the Swan to carry the weight of all in Middle-earth. We are the hope of freedom here. And we will meet that challenge. Oh, now we make money. Is that just because they're in Gobo Mirland though? And Gobo Mirland has, if memory serves, no Dunedain culture at all, so no. I'm not sure why that's making us money. But we aren't just to sit and rest on our laurels. But we do have two large armies, all within close proximity. What I think I'm going to do is abandon the city wholly, pull to the bridge, get Imrahil into the army, and then let them come and merge together. And ideally, if they can, actually take the city back, because it was only making us 80 gold coins, so it's barely anything. But if they can take the city, then we can siege them, and that will help, because they'll wait at least a couple of turns before they save themselves, and so that will buy us a few turns of depleting them. We'll besiege them, won't we? Yeah, Min Luben there. Always using their ships to harass us. Harass us! What is your plan today?
I will not waste words.
Now, according to those numbers, those are really close. But I think they're going to see. They are going to siege us out. Carmen, you move to Ammonithel. Istion.
Wealth is evil.
None lost.
They are gone from these lands.
You take up residence in Finabel, and Carmen will take Ithel.
Let us set up camp.
And that should do us for a turn. Let's see what happens over here. With the fall of the Ardenaim, much will then depend upon what Khand does. If Khand sides with the Blue Wizards, then we have only Mordor to fight. If Khand stay true to Sauron, then we will have to wipe the blight of them from the land. But with our full military might focusing on Khand, there is no way they can hope to win. Particularly if they side... No, if they side with Sauron, they don't lose any towns, do they? They only lose towns if they side with us. The good folk. The free people. But sadly, yes, the Dol Amroth campaign is... Oh, you're going to attack us on a bridge. Oh, you absolute morons. Please don't tell me you have any siege, though. No siege at all. And two generals are going to die here today, as Reuben and Castarian. Smashing. They've got a crossbow unit and 2 archers, 3 archers. We've obviously only got 1 archer, but Imrahil joins us today to watch from afar as we smash this force of the Ardenaim. What a poor location they've chosen to take us on a bridge. The AI knows that bridge battles are a thing. It frequently puts its own troops on bridge battles to get a defensive advantage. So why would it attack us when we're standing on a bridge is just completely beyond me. We also have quite possibly some of our best ground infantry in the army here today. Representing the pikemen of Dol Amroth are pikemen of Dol Amroth and Anphilas pikes. Representing the heavy infantry and the coastal policing authority are the Haven Guard. And we have 2 units of Haven Guard. We don't want, as usual, to stand too close to the bridge because they'll just overwhelm us with numbers. But in truth, what we do want to actually is create the sort of path like that, which gives your archers then a free shot into the enemy, and it also kind of stops the enemy just blobbing in the middle because they can overflow. And if they can overflow, we can then hit them with our cavalry too. But we've got some guardsmen to go on the defence behind those, guardsmen to go on the defence behind those, and then of course we have a great number of cavalry here today. The enemy will cross the bridge though, so we don't actually have to contend with their ranged units very much at all. Mariners awaiting your command. So it remains to just challenge them. So come at us, bro. We shall take your flags, your banners, your lives, and then once we're done with you, you think your women and children are safe. Well, I can assure you they are not. The blight of Sauron's taint to Numenor will be wiped from the lands once and for all, and when we have finished with Umbar and this colonization attempt of the Ardenaim, we'll send our own forces into the deserts of the south. We will find every last vestige of Numenorian memory, and if we cannot turn it to the light and to the swan and the ship, then we shall burn it, and watch as our heritage burns away. But better that than in the tainted hands of these misguided fools. That gentleman has part of his shoulder missing. Little things like that, I'm afraid, are just par for the course. That unit was created by the Third Age team, actually. Obviously, those things can be rectified, but there's so many little things like that. I don't actually know how units work, so I mean, I personally can't resolve them. That's never been an area I deal with. Right, the first volleys of arrow fire whistle across onto the bridge. The pike line is down and ready. The Amphalas pikes look absolutely fantastic. I really like their symbol as well, a sun over the waves. I'm not particularly sure why a sun denotes Amphalas all that well. Amphalas, if you are interested, just means long coast. Or it is long coast, isn't it? I'm sure it's long. Yes, I think it is. So the coastline I understand, but the sun I'm not sure. But maybe the sun just denotes that their land is large, so lots of sunlight hits it. I mean, I'm clutching at straws. But... And as hoped and as expected, the enemy then peels away one side or to the other side, which stops them doing the blobbing. White City will prevail. Right, pikemen, you're welcome to push into our enemies.
The battle is very much in our favour. Victory will be ours.
Give them a damn good going over. Right, and then as the moment is right, send in the cavalry. The cavalry did very poorly. Very poorly indeed. Normally the cavalry in those instances, even though it actually doesn't really do any damage, it normally does a morale shock. Will you please just get out of the battle? Goodness sake. Right, the Amphalas pikes are getting absolutely swarmed. And they've completely lost cohesion. Come on, charge into the side there. Now there are two generals, remember, so they're going to fight to the death today. Our units can come off and really start pushing into them.
They have lost half their men.
They haven't even brought all of their men into the fight. What are they doing? Right, we're sending the squires. That normally gives them something to think about. Cavalry is so horrid to command in this game. Right, the real problem, of course, is the generals. The enemy generals must fall, but the enemy generals are also the strongest units in the enemy's roster, so they won't fall anytime soon. But we've run out of arrows now. We will probably lose about 30% of our army, if not more, to be honest. Sadly. Why did they just say Imrahil?
The battle is very much in our favour. Victory will be ours.
Right, Imrahil, let's move you over there.
Our men have slain the enemy general.
Oh, the enemy general's gone, and everyone runs away. But there's a second one out there, so if we could finish him as well, please.
The enemy army
and there he goes.
Pursue and run them down.
We lost 319, we killed 2,240.
Let all who remember this day remember it as the day of our most glorious victory.
Haven Guard are such a powerful unit. 393 kills, Haven Guard. Seconded... Oh, no, sorry. The Nimrido Mariners took the top at 493. Not surprising. But second and third, Haven Guard 393 and 352. The nearest after that dropping way down to 184 on the pikes. Now, unfortunately, bridge battles like that are the best thing you can have on a bridge battle, of course, is range. You have to hold the enemy at bay to stop them getting to your archers, and in doing so you will take losses, and that was a perfect example of that. Our forces did take losses. Now, of course, we only lost about 300, but still 300 when you've got 1,000 odd is a sizable amount. Now, their 2,000 is a fantastic and significant blow. But remember, when they drop down to below... they accepted that ransom. When they drop down to below 3 regions, they will get a last stand army. Isnir has been betrothed to Duvaineth, and may they live long and happy lives together. I don't want a Master Horse Breeders Guild in Finabel, so we'll just make sure to lose money so that doesn't go through. Right, so the survivors have moved to Gobo Mirlon, so we go back and we once again siege it, and remembering that this is a mighty battle. Castarian, though, we killed you. How did you get out of that? Oh, of course. We captured him, didn't we? Fool. And we just sold him back. Moria is under siege, interestingly. We've got civil disorder in Gobo Mirlon and Amunithel. Some buildings have been destroyed. Very disappointing to hear. We lost Gobo Mirlon, so I'm not all bothered about that. Baratan finally repaired a barracks. Oh, and has units available. Units are available. No, but let's worry about... Let's first of all look into making sure you're retraining. Now, the Coastal Wardens are going to stay there as a unit. The guards... No, I'll take pikes instead of guards. Thank you very much. So take a unit of pikes. You can... Why aren't you free? You need a meeting hall. We'll use some of that money to get a meeting hall. So do retrain those. Do give me some pikes. You can't do anything till you have a meeting hall, so that's not going to come of anything. We can always queue them up in the vain hope that we'll get something. And then that unit as the garrison command. Vildan Kalame, can you do out? No, but you are building your meeting hall. That's fantastic. And over here in Tidithoros, I can't do much. I can give you a stables or an archery range. Or we could get a ballast to make it, but I don't think any of those things are really all that useful. What are you as well? You're a castle. What do we need for the barracks? That needs the governor's quarters, and we are up to... there's the governor's quarters. Very tempted to get that then. But then no, that's folly, We should get some more squires into the field. No, because we're fighting Canned over here. No, we're in a city. Get some bloody archers. Right, there we are. Decision made. Now let's try and give some economic buildings at home. I can get a leather tanner. I can get a mason's hall, leather tanner, or a mason. Dol Amroth doesn't even have a mason's hall. Are you joking? But I think a market in the Netherlands is probably the best bet, so we'll do that. We still make money, remember, but Dol Amroth, if you could get me a mason's hall, even just a basic one, that'd be handy. But then why, actually? We've already built most of the buildings here. Queue them up for retraining and try and get me some units to the front line, specifically archers. Oh, and 2 pikes. Don't bother with that, the Lebanon Marines. Yeah, retrain those. Give me some archers to the front lines. If we're going to be fighting against the Ardenaim, archers are useful. Cavalry is king against the Ardenaim, but archers do still have some benefit, some use. And then also we can try for libraries. These things will eventually slowly free up, but it's whatever Imrazor does is the problem. But we definitely need reinforcements to get to Imrahil there. But there's a few troops training in Tidithoros, but they need to go. They need to go to Vildan Kalame because Cand will come again. Cand have in fact taken the lands of the Porus, so their army will be on us in almost no time. So we've got to watch out for that. But for today, that is likely to conclude. But before we go, we'll do a toggle fog of war because people are asking for them. And also because this is actually the latest build I'm testing the game on. Although much has changed since this build, but there's much to know. So we want to see how everyone's holding without the barracks event. Particularly because this is considerably later than the Ered Luin campaign. Much tweaking and balancing had gone into the barracks buildings by the point I started this campaign. Whereas the Ered Luin was genuinely within the first few days of us removing the barracks events. There was lots of balancing to come. So in this one, let us take a look around the world then. The High Elves remain in Linden with little gain, but they have taken Camath Bryn, which is good to see. And oh, look at that. High Lord Elrond's out. Eladan is out. Gildor's gone east and he's still alive. We are only 45 turns in though. It's early doors. The Northern Dundine are doing alright. They've taken off a Raglor, which they don't often do. And they're sort of frickering and skirmishing with Angmar in the northern bounds of Old Arthedain. The Dwarves of Ered Luin are mopping up most of the rebel regions, or have mopped up the rebel regions in the west, and have taken through to Fuerost. They'll move on Angmar in no time, I'm sure. Gundabad hold the northern vales, but haven't pressed beyond, although they do have Witherboard, Daneshalls and Rakibeg, so they have actually done rather well. And the dwarves are really up against it, given that in the east, you will note, Dorwinion is crumbling. Santanwi, Mornadel and Strondost have all fallen. Neberka is held, Wintirian, Eor and Karasant still held in Dorwinian hands, but it won't be long. Dol Guldur is overwhelmingly powerful. Goodness gracious, they hold all the way up to Vilta in Ruvan. That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Dale are their chief adversary, holding them off at the moment, but of course Dale are soon to knock on the door of Rune, once Rune take Wintirian down. So we'll see how they do. But Dale have taken Erundrunen, which is very bizarre. Yeah, very rare. That's good to see. The Anduin have lost Roscabel, and but otherwise they're doing okay. But they lost Framsberg to Gundabad. So they are up against it. But of course Moria are being beaten back hand over fist. They haven't made it out of Eregion. Dunland have blocked them in there. They've taken even Kiloniak, actually. And then, of course, the Northern Dunedain are keeping them at bay. And I think with the elves being more active, that takes up a lot of Moria's time. Because, of course, in auto-resolve, high elves just absolutely ruin Moria's armies. So Moria just basically can never beat the high elves in auto-resolve. They have to get really lucky. But they're holding Goblin Town again with a large army, and they're sending small skirmishes into the Vales. So fighting on all fronts there. Enedwaith have taken Dunyard, which is interesting to see, but they've paid for that with Barad Vin, so they've paid one another back. But they have cut Dunland off from Isengard, who don't seem to be fighting Enedwaith in full force, but they have taken Karas, so I assume they are. Let's just have a look. Enedwaith, yes, they are at war with Isengard, but Isengard, of course, their chief enemy of Rohan, has not lost any ground, and if Rohan get the drop on Isengard, the later the game goes on, I would, in my opinion, because if Isengard can't break into either Rohan or Enedwaith, then despite the fact that their forces are stronger, they don't have the numbers or the money to keep up with these nations that have these large regions. But of course, Mordor has taken Calenhad, Caerandros, and is crossing into the Eastfold, which is here, Oldburg in the Fold. But so that's an interesting one there. Mordor are not yet too powerful. If Isengard can't really gain ground and traction, then Rohan will become powerful and will help Gondor hold Mordor back. And of course, Gondor, other than their recent I don't know where I was going with that. Other than their recent loss at Halthanur, they hold much of their initial lands and are doing very well. And again, it's another situation. Mordor need to drop Gondor earlier in the campaign if they can, because if Gondor are allowed to build up to the same sort of level that Mordor has, where they've got all of these citadels and highest tier cities, if Gondor can upgrade some of their backwater provinces to higher tiers, then they're able to match Mordor's numbers, and if Gondor match Mordor for numbers, they'll beat them. So whilst Mordor do bizarrely have some sort of boost in the auto-resolve over Gondor, if Gondor is allowed to get extra numbers, then they will win out every single time. And with us giving Gondor strength in the south, they will grow more and more powerful. But I do note that Cand have yet to actually take Crocmaher or Corondage as well. And at the moment, Ancaragmir even sits in idle hands. Captain Amar and the Ardenaim aren't going for it. I'm loath to look at the Ardenaim. I don't want to see what they've got in Umbar, because that is just straight up cheating. And we're beating them, so the balance with them doesn't matter. But otherwise, the rest of the world looks quite good. I'm pleased to see Rune doing so well so early, because of course, unless Gundabad does well, it's such a domino effect, this game. Unless Gundabad does well, then the dwarves will grow in power, and they will put an end to Rune, which will then bolster Dorwinion, and Mordor will fall eventually if you play for like 400 turns or something. But Rune need to get going early doors so that they can take on the 3 enemies they're likely to face in the long run. But with Dol Guldur doing so well, I think actually it might be a victory for evil in Ravanion. Those two powerhouses together will be nigh on unstoppable. I note, though, that Lothlorien has a Ruin Lim here still, but they have lost a Draichan to Dol Guldur, but they don't seem to be looking to get it back. Khazad-dûm is under siege, and the defence of Khazad-dûm is very small. Their main army, bizarrely, is in the forest, which is why Lothlorien is likely not doing anything, because there is a giant army sitting in their region, and they don't like that. As Lance Corporal Jones says, they don't like that. They don't like it up 'em. Basradum has fallen to Enedwaith, and I don't think Enedwaith, though, are fighting the High Elves. Oh, they are allied to the High Elves. Oh, that's good to see. That is good to see. So I think Eriador is likely going to go good, because Enedwaith has gone good, and they've formed an alliance with one of the more powerful nations. It depends to see what happens with the rings, though. Have Ered Luin already made their choice, actually? I can't remember. Ered Luin. Ah, bugger. No, the High Elves are at war with Ered Luin, so who knows what's going to happen in Eriador. But Rovanion seems to be on the side of evil. But for now, that is the end. That was almost 10 minutes of map monitoring there, wasn't it? But that will conclude today's video. So as I say, I'm going to put this one through my editing software, so it will almost certainly not be dark today. But I'm going to test and also put it up as the raw recording and see what YouTube does. You'll only see one video, obviously, but if I have to put it through the program every time to remove that odd darkness, I will do. I do like the videos to be as high quality as possible, but it's just a pain in the neck. But anyway, until we speak again, dear friends, thank you very much for watching along and all your support and comments, and I do hope you have a pleasant Thursday. But until next time, Navar Naden Perimad Melonin, and farewell.